Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy New Year's Eve. To celebrate today, I am back as promised to share with you guys my very favorite high-end makeup products from the year 2020. I did my best of drugstore video just a couple days ago. I will link it for you guys right here in case you missed it. I highly recommend checking that one out because as much as I love all makeup, drugstore is definitely where my true love lies. But that said, I have discovered some really good high-end makeup products this year. Fantastic products, really nice packaging, and we're going to talk about it all today. I went through my entire collection, looked through some old favorites videos, and picked out the things that I really think are worth mentioning today, the things that I would most recommend, and the products that I have used the most and have been the most excited about. So I hope that you guys are excited about it. Before we jump into my bin of makeup, I want to welcome any new visitors to my channel. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you do, please give it a thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe before you leave. And now let's get right into it. So today I thought we'd kind of start in like a backwards order. Normally I start with complexion products first, but let's start off with the lips today. And first off, I have a lip liner that I tried out just a couple of months ago, and this thing blew my mind. It's from Charlotte Tilbury. This is one of her Lip Cheat lip liners. I have it in the shade Iconic Nude. This is the lip liner that I'm wearing all over my lips today. All I have on top of this is a gloss that we'll be talking about in a minute, but most of the color you're seeing on my lips comes from this lip liner. The color is beautiful, don't get me wrong, but what I most love about this lip liner is its longevity. Other than some MAC lip liners, this is really my first high-end lip liner, and I have never tried a lip liner that is as budge proof as this thing is. I notice it when I'm wearing it on my lips. It lasts almost all day long, even through meals. I will still see it on the perimeter of my lips after eating a meal. I also remember one day I had swatched this in a video on the back of my hand, and literally through many hand washings throughout the day and actually trying to just rub it off with a dry towel, it would not budge. I don't know how they do it, but this stuff really does set down and stay in place. It's like a liquid lipstick somehow, but it doesn't feel like one. It's really nice and creamy, easy to apply. And while it pains me a little bit to spend this much on a lip liner when I have so many that are in that $3 or $4 range that I love, I have to admit that the lasting power on this is far superior to any of my drugstore lip liners. I also wanted to mention from Charlotte Tilbury this lipstick right here. I got this in the same video that I got the lip liner in. This is the JK Magic Hot Lips 2 lipstick from Charlotte Tilbury. Oh, I so love this. It is so beautiful. More than anything, I would say the reason I recommend this is the packaging. If you like luxury makeup, you like something that feels really fancy, really solid, plus the product inside is really nice. This is gorgeous. Nothing compares to the packaging of this thing. It is so beautiful. The color of the lipstick is stunning. I'm not wearing it today. I didn't want to wear a peach tone lipstick because my look is a little bit more cool tone, but this is a great nude for me. It's a very nice warm pinky nude, really lovely creamy formula, really nice lipstick. And while I'm not one to go out and collect $37 lipsticks, it is nice to have one really fancy lipstick, and this thing is as fancy as they get. Let's talk about a lip gloss. I had to mention the Fenty lip gloss. This one right here is in the color Sweet Mouth. This is basically like a clear lip gloss. It has a little bit of a pink shimmery color to it, but it's mostly clear. This is a great lip gloss to pair on top of other lip colors. I love wearing this with a nude lip. It's so beautiful, so sparkly, very comfortable, and I love the smell of these lip glosses. The packaging is adorable, and you actually get a lot of product inside here. So even though they are $18 or $19 for a full size, you do get a lot more product in here than even some of my favorite drugstore lip glosses. For example, in my last video, I talked about my love for the Maybelline Lifter Gloss, which I do absolutely love. This product has 0.18 ounces in it, whereas the Fenty has 0.3. So you're getting almost double the product inside the Fenty gloss, which really makes these almost the same price per ounce. All right, let's move into mascara. I have just one high-end mascara to talk about today. This one really won me over in the year 2020, and it's this right here from Thrive Cosmetics. This is the Thrive Cosmetics mascara. I heard people talk about this for over a year, and I never really had a whole lot of interest in trying this out for myself until my sister told me about it. She swore by it, told me it's the most amazing mascara, and then she ended up buying it for me on my birthday in July, and I was blown away by this stuff. So during the month of July, my son was actually in the middle of doing a summer baseball league, and when I am outside watching baseball, it's usually dry. It's often windy. A lot of times I have a camera up to my eyes, so my eyes water like crazy, and it takes a seriously good mascara to hold up to that. This stuff held up so well, yet it's super easy to remove at night. And on top of all of that, it does amazing things for my lashes. I am wearing it on my eyes today. I'm really like at the tail end of this. I probably should have thrown it away like a month ago. There is still a little bit of product left inside here, but it is starting to dry out a little bit, and I am absolutely planning to replace this. And I don't know that I've felt as attached to a mascara in a long time as I have to this stuff. I mean, I love my Tony Moly mascara, but even that mascara I can't wear to baseball because I know that it's not going to hold up to my watery eyes. Very impressed with this mascara. It is a tubing mascara. Did I mention that? So basically all you have to do is wet your eyes with warm water at night and kind of pinch, and it will just come right off. I would not recommend going swimming in this mascara, because if you do rub your eyes a lot, as in like really rub your eyes, it probably will rub off. But if you're just wiping at your watery eyes a little bit, it will hold up really, really well. Let's jump into foundation. I have just one to mention for you guys, and it is this one right here, the Estee Lauder Futurist Hydra Rescue Foundation. I love this stuff. It is such a nice foundation. If you like something that's a little bit hydrating, this is a beautiful foundation. It looks very natural on the skin. I would say it's subtly dewy. It's not quite as dewy as, say, my Wet n Wild Dewy foundation, or even my IT Cosmetics foundation, or my Flower Beauty foundation. Has a little bit more of a natural finish, but it is very hydrating, very moisturizing on my dry skin. If you don't have dry skin, or I would say if you have oily skin, I don't know how well this will work. If you do have oily skin and you've tried this out, please let us know down below if you enjoy it or not. I do find that I have to powder this just a little bit, especially where my smile lines are and my forehead wrinkles. I do find it can settle a little bit, but as long as I powder it just very, very lightly, it wears beautifully on me. As far as longevity, I don't think this is probably going to last as long as like Estee Lauder Double Wear, although I've never tried that foundation. I wouldn't say this lasts quite as long as like my L'Oreal foundation. I would say it lasts a good 8 hours on me before it starts to maybe break down a little bit and look a little bit oily. But there are very few foundations that I like the look of on my skin as much as this one right here. It is just absolutely beautiful. I do have one concealer to mention, and it is the concealer I'm wearing today, is the Dior Forever Skin Concealer. I kind of randomly picked up this concealer earlier on in the year when I was looking at some reviews on Sephora's website under their concealer section, and this one I noticed had really good reviews. Then I started looking into it. I saw how much product was in it, and for the price, this is actually a pretty good value concealer, which I never would have expected. Usually Dior is one of those brands that I kind of glance over because I assume they're just going to be super pricey. But this bottle of concealer has 0.37 ounces in it, and it was under $40, so I feel like that's a pretty good value. It's going to take me forever to get through this thing. It's almost as big as my Too Faced concealer, and the way that it performs actually does remind me a little bit of the Too Faced Multi-Use Sculpting Concealer. It has very good coverage. It's nice and hydrating, but it doesn't tend to settle into fine lines or move around. It's just a really good all-around concealer. I have the shade 1W, which is a little bit light for me, but it works perfectly for under my eye area. I even like using this as an eyeshadow primer sometimes, and it works really well for that. So if you like something a little bit more fancy than the Revlon concealer, which I'm still going to say that's my #1 concealer for the year, but if you want something a little bit more fancy and high-end, I would recommend this one. I do think it's really great. Down to my last category, which is cheek products, but that doesn't mean this video is almost over. I have as many cheek products or more than what I have talked about so far. I tried out so many different cheek products this year and found some awesome discoveries. So first I want to get one out of the way that is a repeat, but I had to mention it because it has continued to be one of my most reached for bronzers this last year, and it's the Milk Makeup Bronzer Stick. If you guys dig into my description box very often, you'll probably recognize that this seems to make an appearance on my face in almost every other video. I wear this stuff all the time. I absolutely love it. It works so well for me. It is a warm bronzer, so be warned if you don't like warm bronzers, you like something more of a bronzer or cool tone. It is a little bit warm, but I love how this performs and how it looks on my skin, how it wears. It's very, very budge proof, very creamy and easy to blend, but it never quite sets down to looking like a powder. And that's what I love more than anything about it, is just the texture of it, the way that it looks on the skin. It just looks so natural and blends out so easily. But that's not the only bronzer that I loved this year. I also had to talk about the Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand, a newer addition to my collection, but I've really fallen in love with this thing over the last month or two. And I did get a comment from one of you who had tried the Milk Makeup Bronzer Stick and thought it was a little bit too warm, but then tried this contour wand and liked it a lot better. And I would say that is true if you like something a little bit cooler. Let me swatch this next to the Milk one so that you guys can kind of see the difference in color. So there they are right there. Do you see how much cooler the Charlotte Tilbury is? And they have a similar formula. I do think the Milk one is just a little bit more creamy, whereas the Charlotte Tilbury is a little bit more liquidy. They blend very similarly. They're super easy to blend. They look very seamless on the skin. Another really beautiful product, especially if you like something that's not quite so warm. But when it comes to bronzers, I've got a couple more, you guys. I also had to mention the Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow. I really love this stuff. I think if you are someone that likes something super, super subtle, and I mean even more subtle than the Milk, even more subtle than the contour wand, and you like working with the powder, you will love this stuff. Now, I will say it probably only works for those with medium to fair skin. I think if you have, honestly, even medium skin, this might not work for. I was even worried when I first got it that it wouldn't work for me because it looks so light in the pan, but this shows up beautifully on my skin. It is the perfect bronzer shade. It just gives you that perfect mix of shape and color at the same time. I'll see if I can swatch these for you guys. I know these ones have a really hard time showing up. So here's the contour shade, and then here is the highlighter. The highlighter is very, very subtle, but it is definitely there and very beautiful. If you're into more of a subtle, barely there kind of highlight, this is a beautiful one. It's Charlotte Tilbury, so the packaging is lovely, and I actually think this is a pretty good size, considering the price and the fact that it's a mini. I was worried it would be too small, but I think this is pretty substantial. But bear with me, I have 2 more bronzers to share with you guys. First off, the Hourglass bronzer. This one is in the shade Luminous Bronze Light. This is a newer addition to me. I haven't had it for super long, but guys, Hourglass powders, especially their bronzers and blushes, I just think are phenomenal. They're beautiful. If you like really nice packaging, really nice formulas, I think you will love these. They are pricey. I will admit that. They are super pricey. So if you are on a budget, there are great bronzers at the drugstore that perform really well for a fraction of the price of these, but I've never found anything that quite mimics the way these look on my skin. They just have the perfect, soft, luminous finish that just makes you look kind of like youthful. They look very natural. They're easy to apply. They go on and blend like a dream. They have the perfect amount of pigment. Let me try and give this one a swatch. I know these are always difficult to swatch. So there's the shade Luminous Bronze Light. It's a very warm, kind of almost yellowy bronze, which I actually really love for my skin tone. But if you're looking for something a little bit deeper and a little bit cooler, I also have the shade Diffused Bronze Light, and this one is definitely a little bit more deep and a little bit more cool. There it is, right there. I know those swatches might not look that different, but on my skin, this one is significantly deeper and cooler when I apply it to my face. But I love them both. If you're into good packaging and really good formulas, you don't mind spending a little bit more, I can't imagine you wouldn't love those. I also had mentioned the Hourglass blush in the shade Mood Exposure. While we're on Hourglass, this is so beautiful. One of my favorite shades of blush probably this whole year. It is the blush that I'm wearing on my cheeks today. It's a really soft, neutral pink blush. I'd say this would work really well for anyone with medium to fair skin. It's almost like a beigey tone blush, and I love those types of shades that are very kind of nude looking. Gives you just a hint of color, but it has the most beautiful subtle sheen. It just looks so natural on the cheeks. I absolutely love it. But I want to go back to one bronzer, and it's this right here. It's actually this whole palette. This I also tried out relatively recently, the end of October or November, but I was blown away by this. This is the Benefit Cheek Stars palette. It includes 5 full-size products inside, but there are 2 products in here that I specifically am mentioning. I mean, I do recommend this whole palette because I think it's amazing. But what really knocked my socks off with this palette is first off the Hoola bronzer. I cannot believe it took me so long to try this bronzer out. I know that I've said this recently a couple of times, so forgive me for those of you that have heard this before, but really I was just really impressed with this, and I was not expecting to like this bronzer as much as I do. It's a perfect shade for me. It is the bronzer that I'm wearing on my cheeks today. Let me go ahead and swatch this next to the other swatches that I have here on the other side. Well, which hand? I actually have swatches on 2 sides. Let's swatch it over here next to these Hourglass ones. So it's right here at the top. So it's a little bit deeper than the Luminous Bronze Light. I'd say this is a good like intermediate between these two. It's a little bit deeper and a little bit less warm and yellow than this one right here, but it's not quite as cool and as deep as the Diffused Bronze Light. It's also a little bit more matte. It doesn't quite have the luminous finish that the Hourglass bronzers have, but it is by no means chalky. It's a beautiful, beautiful formula. I absolutely love it. It is amazing. It's one of the most reached for bronzers of the last couple of months. I just love pulling this whole palette out to get my whole face done. I mean, even the blushes in here are really nice. The only one I don't really love is this Georgia blush right here, and I would imagine if you have anything or any skin tone deeper than mine, that probably won't show up very much on you, but as for everything else in here, I absolutely love. I also really love and recommend the Cookie Highlight. This is a very intense highlighter. Super, super foiled and reflective, not for the faint of heart. But you guys know that's how I like my highlights. I like a really bold and intense highlight. It makes me happy. Let me swatch it next to this one right here, which was the one from Charlotte Tilbury, so you can see the difference in those two. This one is significantly more beaming. So, so pretty. Perfect color. If you like an intense highlight, I feel like this would look beautiful on any skin tone. Last off, let's talk about one of my favorite categories next to eyeshadow palettes, which I don't think I mentioned at the beginning of the video. I did mention it in my last video, but I will be doing a separate video of all my best palettes from 2020 together, so that will be coming up pretty soon, probably within the next week. But next to eyeshadow palettes, my favorite thing to try out this last year was blushes, and I have some really great high-end blushes to share with you guys. First off, this one right here. This is from MAC. This is their Glow Play blush. I actually have 2 shades. I would definitely recommend this shade the most. This is the shade Grand, a really beautiful peachy pink. Excellent formula. I absolutely love these. these. They wear really well on me. They last a long time. They actually remind me a little bit of the ColourPop ones. But if you are into cream or liquid blushes, I do really think that you would love these. They have a beautiful texture on the skin. The easiest way to apply these is either with a sponge or with a stippling brush. I almost always apply it with this stippling brush right here. It works incredibly well. Love the color of this one. It is so, so pretty. I love the way these feel, honestly, on my finger. I almost want to apply them with my finger because they just feel so fun to dip into. There's the color right there. Really nice, warm nude pink. I also found this shade at Marshall's this year. This is the shade Rosy Does It. It's a little bit bold for me. This one turns very, very kind of magenta pink on me. I was hoping if I used it with a really light hand, I could get away with wearing it, but I find it to be just a little bit too intense for me. But if you have medium to deep skin, I think this shade would be so lovely on you. If you like those rosy, kind of almost mauve tone shades, this is a beautiful one. And the formula's great. The formula's just as good as the other one. It's just the shade's a little bit too bold for me. Another blush that I kind of accidentally fell in love with this year is this one from Milk Makeup. I did mention this in a favorites video, I think a month or two ago. I got this in, I think, August or September when I went into Sephora. They gave this to me as a belated birthday gift. And I love this. This is the Milk Lip and Cheek color in the shade Work. This is so, so beautiful. Actually, let me swatch it next to these other shades that I have here. I would say this one is like a good in between these other two shades above it, the two MAC shades. It's not quite as warm as this Glow Play shade. It's a good solid neutral pink. It goes with warm or cool tones. Very natural, really nice formula. I also love applying this one with a stippling brush. This is a product I am certain I never would have tried on my own because I don't think I've ever really heard anyone talk about these. I love it though. It lasts really well on my skin. They have this really nice smell, which is kind of funny because I actually think this one kind of smells bad. It smells like crayons or Play-Doh. I know a lot of people have commented on that, but this one smells lovely. Has this beautiful, soft, fresh scent I absolutely love. But if I had to pick just one blush that blew my mind, that took the cake this year, I'd have to give it to this Patrick Ta blush. This is their Double Take Cream and Powder blush in the shade She's So LA. This is so beautiful and very, very unique to anything else in my collection. I really feel like this is a shade that would work for so many different skin tones. If you have medium to deep skin, let me know if you guys have tried this specific shade, how it worked for you. What I love so much about these is they have a really good buildable pigmentation to them. So the way that they actually recommend applying these is to apply the powder first and then top it with the cream, which is what I've been doing. And I'll sometimes even take a little bit of this cream blush just on top of whatever else I'm wearing, even if it's something else. I've actually tried it on top of the blushes from the Benefit palette. Let me go ahead and swatch these for you guys, then maybe we'll put a little bit of this cream on top of the blush that I'm wearing today and see how that works. So here is the powder. There it is right there. I know it looks a little bit like a bronzer, but if you could see it in person, it has a very subtle rosy shift to it, so it makes a beautiful blush, which I wasn't expecting. I was worried that when I got this it would look too much like a bronzer on me, but it really does make a beautiful blush. Let me swatch the cream shade next to it, and I would say the cream even has a little bit more rosiness to it, but they pair so beautifully together. So there's the cream right there. Do you see that subtle kind of rosy pink shift to it? Oh, they are so beautiful. I just love this product. The packaging is so beautiful. The color inside is so unique and the formula is really fantastic. One of my favorite purchases of the year. So I do want to take just a little bit of this shade right here and just top it on my cheeks, even though I have plenty of blush on right now, but let's just see what this will maybe add, just to kind of show you guys the color. So can you kind of see that like rosy brown tint? Oh, I just think it's so, so pretty. Oh, I love it. And I also think these are pretty buildable. So you could really build up quite a bit of color if you went in with just a couple of layers. Just look how pretty that shade is. I know it might look a little over the top, but hopefully that gave you an idea of just the color and kind of the texture of it. I absolutely love them. They are so incredible. I'm very tempted to pick up a couple more shades. Let me know if you guys have other recommendations from this line. I believe there's only 4 shades total, but if you have tried some of their other shades and would recommend them, let me know, because I just think these are so unique, so fun, so beautiful. I love this product. And that is it, you guys. Those are all the best high-end makeup products that I tried out in the year 2020. If you guys have any thoughts on any of these products that I mentioned today, please let me know down below. Of course, I would also love to know what some of your favorite high-end makeup products that you tried out this last year were, whether they were new releases or maybe they were some old products like the Benefit Hoola Bronzer that took you 10 years to try out. Please sound off down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Thank you for joining me on this journey of 2020 for those of you that have been with me for a while. I so appreciate you guys. Thank you for watching my videos this last year. And if you are new, I hope that you'll stick around and subscribe and join us for the year 2021, which I think is going to be an amazing year, right? It has to be after 2020. Also, one more quick announcement. January on my channel is going to be a full month of nothing new. I have a lot of really fun and unique videos planned for you guys, so let that be one more reminder to make sure that you're subscribed and turn on your notification bell. Thank you guys so much again, and I will see you guys next year in my next video. Bye. But you're making me nervous. Stop looking at me. Just kidding.